Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for clicking. It means a lot that you guys keep clicking. If you guys keep clicking, I'll keep making. And this video is kind of my love letter to this Vessi tribe. This is what we want more of from you casting agents. Go get people like the people on this Vessi tribe. I love how it's going so far, and I hope we can get more people like this on the show. That's going to be the overall topic for today's video. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff because it's free, it's easy, and it really helps the channel out. So really what I want to do is touch on a few things. One, I want to touch on each individual castaway and what makes them such a good casting choice. And then on top of that, I want to look at the dynamics from this tribe and kind of analyze them as far as what's going on this tribe. All right, so I feel like you have to start with the biggest, the baddest. It's Cody. I feel like, to me, Cody is one of the best casting choices that I've seen from the show in years. He's fantastic because he has an evil side to him, but he has that nice side to him. And it's not like how in this new era where people can be mean, but overall they're trying not to look bad on TV. Cody does not care. He is just having fun. He's speaking his mind. That's what a reality contestant should do. That's the entire point, is they speak their mind and that's it. And Cody's mind is so fun to watch, between him lying and saying that he hates salespeople, even though he's a salesperson, between him kind of just jumping off cliffs just kind of randomly, to him forming his own alliance and then kind of playing the game pretty aggressively, to calling out Dwight as a liar even though he was wrong. I just love Cody as a casting choice. I think this kind of more abrasive guy, but in a fun way, is not really seen nowadays. He's not like some sort of mafioso, but he's definitely not timid, for sure, and I like that. I think that this is how you should be casting seasons, not for your like basket case Lianas. Like, I want more Codys than I want Lianas. And while we're sticking on this three-person anti-salesperson alliance, let's go with NECA, someone who I think hasn't got much screen time, but with the screen time that she's got, I can see the potential for her in a casting choice. I feel like, to me, she may not play the game like some sort of mafioso Tony type player, but she's not like a goat, and on top of that, I feel like the biggest thing for me is the fact that she calls it how she sees it as well. She's very blunt with how she sees things, and she will tell us that in confessional. On top of that, she's also pretty relatable, right? She has no problem saying when she doesn't feel kind of included in a situation, when she feels like it's not maybe her forte that she's in right now. I think NECA is also really fun and kind of a likable person. She doesn't really have that evil side, although maybe she does. We just haven't seen it yet. But I think overall she's very multi-layered, which I think is super important. Next, we have Noelle, who honestly may be arguably the quote-unquote worst character on this tribe. And if Noelle, the strong woman, and again, usually the whole I'm a strong woman thing is kind of based in this third wave feminism, but Noelle is actually a strong woman. She's actually a good example of someone, because have you heard her say it one time? No, because you don't have to say it. You just know. And for me, that's the biggest thing, is Noelle has this conviction, and it's not necessarily being aggressive, but being very assertive with how she does things, and it's very respectable. She's not the type to be like, oh, well, actually, I don't. She's not timid at all. She plays the game with this conviction that she lives her real life with. On top of that, her leg story is obviously fascinating. The fact that she turned that into an Olympic career, it's absolutely super impressive. And she's kind of one extra person who's physically very strong, which is kind of ironic considering she's missing a limb, but she's more strong than half of these people. So she's super rootable for, which I think you have to have a few of those people who are really rootable for. And then on top of that, the other person that we have on this tribe is Dwight. I think Dwight is also a very good casting choice, but for much different reasons. Dwight is your game bot, which, although having only game bots is very boring, I think you do need a few game bots, especially nowadays. The game bots can just add this level of chaos into the game. If it's a bunch of Codys, that's cool, but I think to an extent you do need a few game bots on the cast, because in the end of the day, right, like, personality is good and cool and all, but the strategy is what drives the show in this era. And so to have people like Dwight to make either giant mistakes or giant successes to me is very fun to watch. Dwight's also one of the best players in the entire game on paper, but can he translate it? That's the story with, the Jacob Derwin types, which I think Dwight does fit into. I don't think Dwight is going to last very long. He doesn't really seem to have, that much of a long leash on his game. His edit isn't necessarily the most favorable one in the entire world, but I think Dwight is a really interesting person and character. And on top of that, he's not like overly annoying. Although, he's kind of meant to be annoying. That's what the super fan is kind of meant to be. I think he's not that annoying, which I can definitely respect. Then the last person we have, besides the person who got booted out in this past episode, is Jesse, the guy who used to be in a gang. Which I mean, if you're gonna come up with sob stories, I like that one because it shows personal growth. Like he got with the wrong crowd, but ended up growing as a person. I really, really like that. On top of that, I think Jesse is the best player in the game, other than Ellie right now, probably, which is good. I mean, you want good players in the game. He has complete control over this tribe, which we'll talk about in a second when we go through the dynamics of this tribe. But overall, I feel like Jesse is a very good player, has very good confessionals showing us what he's thinking, is kind of playing all sides, which is very, very fun to watch. And then on top of that, he's kind of friends with everybody on the tribe, so he can get stuff out of anyone and flip back and forth. I don't think Jesse's our winner. It just seems a little bit like he's more of a super fan type of edit, but I do think that he's playing a fantastic game and showing how to win in this new era, not playing this really, really passive Erica-esque, Marianne-esque game. Like you can succeed by actually playing the game aggressively, which I think he's showing right now. And the boot for me, Justine, to me, even the boot here, the person who I think not only went home, but should have gone home here, because I'm a big proponent of the boot order being important. There are certain people who you cast that need to go home pre-merge. Great examples of that were in 41, Erica, maybe like a Tiffany, maybe like a Heather. Those people needed to take the spots of people who should have made the merge, right? Your people, like for an example, JD, Brad, and Voce, those people needed to make the merge. And if they had swapped with people like Erica and Heather, we would have seen a much better season. Your boot order is very important, and I think this cast and this first tribal is showing that the boot order for the season is going to be fantastic. I know there's some people who are calling this episode male-centric or sexist, I guess, because Sammy inferred that the boys need to stick together to oppose the blossoming woman alliance on his tribe, or the fact that it was mostly men who got confessionals in this episode. And to that I say, you're an absolute idiot. I mean, just go find some brain cells, because that's just stupid. I mean, the two biggest characters on that yellow tribe right now are probably Sammy and Ellie, so that's even. And then as far as this red tribe, the men kind of went out here, especially your Jessies and Codys, and also even NECA. Those people went out, and so those people had their stories told, whereas Justine got played, and so she was not shown as much, or at least the game wasn't really shown from her perspective as much. But what do you guys think? Do you guys also like this episode? As always, none of this happens without you guys. I'm sure you guys spend a weird microphone, so as always, thank you. That's what I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.